Me by God, Gene. Woo! Let's go, baby. We are at the end of season 2. We're going into the beginning of the next season. This is the Gridiron. I am your host, the Midnight Rider. I've got backstage. I got the boss B, coach of Maryland. I got the big guy KG, the coach of Notre Dame. And just because I got my gear on today, it's because the real Fighting Irish playing. But welcome to the greatest, and I say the greatest, fictitious sports show in the world. We are talking about the Sideline Junkies 2024 Dynasty League. We're finishing up season 2, and we're gonna give you the introduction to season 3. Yes, folks, we are rolling through weeks and weeks of football, only to give you the most up-to-date content and give you something that nobody else has. No other Dynasty League has its own podcast. And if they do, they lying to you, okay? And if you want to join, like we always say, if you want the smoke, we got the cigar and the lighter. So here we go, the Gridiron, fellas. How you guys doing? I don't know if I got both of you. I don't know how we starting this. You tell me.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right, what's up? So, you guys want to just go ahead and recap the season?
Hell of a season.
Hell of a season. So let's do that. All right. So let's go ahead because we got one of the prominent coaches in the country right now. The man is taking a 3-star, not a 1, not a 2, not a 4, not a 5. We're talking about a 3-star team to the cusp of the college championship series. There's nobody other than the boss man B, coach of the Maryland Terrapins. Coach, how are you doing this morning?
Man, we're doing good. We still kind of lick on our wounds from that Peach Bowl loss to Michigan. We just kind of unraveled at the end, and Coach Darnell and the Michigan Wolverines they came in defensively and took away a lot of things I wanted to do, and we didn't adjust well. And it just turned into an old-fashioned ass whooping. And I had to talk to my kids in the locker room because they were expecting national championship hopes. We were on a good run, but everything has to come to an end, and we preparing for next season.
I mean, you came in as a 2 seed. I mean, at the beginning of the year, to say you were taking because you started your freshman QB, didn't you?
I think he's a redshirt freshman. Yeah, I benched my senior. We wanted to go with another hand with more potential. We had saw the first season what Edwards Jr. was going to give us, and it was kind of I felt like it was limited. So we put Martin in, and a little bit more zip on the passes. So seeing that coming in, I was like, well, let's run with this and let's get him experience now. So coming in next season, he'll have that experience on him. And I think going through all the way to the semifinal, he kind of unraveled on me a little bit and, showed his colors. But I expect that from a youngin.
So let's talk about, we're going to take a wider angle on this. Like, let's look at the league itself, the teams in the league in this final 12, first and foremost. We had Oregon. We have Michigan, Notre Dame. We have Alabama. And we have yourself all in the college playoffs. That alone, was it 6 out of the 8 coaches that we have being in the playoffs is a monumental thing. And then for us to have an all-user Final Four, that just says nothing but good things about the teams and the coaches in this league. What's your thoughts on that?
Hey, look, we had the first round game, Texas and Michigan. They know each other well, and that was a hell of a game. That was a good game. So it was a defensive battle. I thought both teams did a good job defensively, taking away what the other wanted to do, and that's when you get the familiarity of your coaches and what they want to do. And then the coach of Michigan. If you watch that game, I watched it. He pulled the rabbit out of the hat, and this is what good coaches do. He sent Cabana on and by the way, I think Cabana left for the draft, so he doesn't have Cabana anymore. But he sent Cabana on. I don't know if it was a wheel route or whatever, and he hadn't done it And that is the beauty of coaching. You got these plays in your pocket that they look like your base formations. They look like the things you come out in all the time. So you got somebody on their heels, or not necessarily heels, but you got somebody with that's drooling. They can smell blood. They think they know what you're going to do, and you pop something completely different out. And that Cabana pass broke the game, and Michigan ends up winning and moving on, and of course, taking care of Kansas State, K-State. And then you got the Oregon Ducks. I don't think we ever checked, but he had North Carolina. He dispatched them. He dispatched Clemson to get to the semifinal. And of course, the
Yeah.
kid from what'd you say?
No, I was gonna say, and I think, speaking of Oregon, I said this to KG, but I think Oregon had the same run when they won the national championship last season. I think they played North Carolina in the first round. I think they played Clemson. I don't remember who they played in the semis, but the first two rounds are exactly the same as what they had last year.
And I can look now once I stop talking and we switch to the big guy. I'll go look real quick. I don't know if it'll let me go back, but I'll double check.
Yeah,
So then you have me. You have Notre Dame. Unfortunately, they Texas A&M just kind of went through Notre Dame and dispatched them. Then they come to the second round of Maryland. It was a
that
it
was a
just
great
one.
game.
Oh, it was a great game. It was one of those games where we just couldn't pull away from A&M, and that the last play, the last series of plays were a coaching blunder and my fault. They came out. I called a timeout because I didn't like the defense, and then I got a brain fart and they end up picking the play for me, which was man to man on this Texas A&M team, and I was just like, oh my goodness! When I saw it, I can't call a timeout, so I had to play it, and they threw it to the end zone, and probably one of the better users in the league, I had to take and pick that ball off, and that ended the game and sent Maryland to the semifinal. And then of course, not last but not least, the kid from Alabama, he's already got his bye. He dispatched of Oklahoma, and then got to the semifinal versus Oregon, and we'll start there. Absolutely, just I think it's still feathers flying through the air with the Oregon Ducks out of that semifinal. He just
Right.
dispatched of. He did what he wanted to do in that game. The coach of Oregon, Jimmy, just couldn't get anything going against that Alabama team, and the Alabama got an in. And it's so, like I said, it's so interesting to see matchups. The left end for Alabama absolutely gave the right tackle from Oregon absolute fits. He may not be the same right tackle ever again. He might develop a trait where it says "I see ghost." I see ghost. That might be his trait now. Where he's jumping off sides and everything. They played a complete game, and that sent them to the national championship. And then a quick recap of the Maryland Michigan game in the semifinal. Like I said, Coach D came in there with he was already hungry because we played in College Park and I edged him out. No homo. But he came in there. He knew what he wanted to do. He knew what he wanted to take away. I got him early. He was waiting for my outs. I got him early on a pump fake and a touchdown to my man Smith, and another one of my senior receivers. I'm losing. And then I threw a couple of interceptions that just I shouldn't have thrown. Just kind of like not reading what he was doing, or reading what he was doing and still being stubborn and trying to get what I wanted. But he played a hell of a game, and then that leads to the Michigan Alabama national championship.
I want to first and foremost, before we go in further, thank you guys for allowing me to have the level of access that I have to watching these games, to watching the interactions between all the owners in the league, the users, the coaches. Um, it's exclusive. It's great. I enjoy all of it. I get to see the trash talking. We got some news about coaches actually going to another destination, getting hired somewhere else. So we got some things popping, but this Alabama Michigan game was it seems like there's a trend in these games when I watch them. And when I mean a trend, like it's almost as if when you get out of what you do and you start having to scramble, that's when you struggle. Alabama's a run-heavy team, and it seemed like every time they tried to take that shot or they tried to throw the ball in this ball game, it came back to hurt them and bite them in the end. I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but I listened to it, and all I kept hearing was "Hail to the Victor." So much so I started singing it when I got on my car, which isn't a good thing if you're a fan of Alabama. And I think that's kind of how the game went. It just seemed like he could never get going, and Michigan was kept hitting everything they wanted to do. Cabana was great. He didn't have to throw the ball too much, and he just got what he wanted. What did you think? Either you, Big Guy, or B.
Big Guy, go ahead.
Well, when it came to this game, I of course I have a personal rooting interest in this game for various reasons.
The coaching tree.
Yes, this is one of those ones where I said it would be a little bit disrespectful to be on either sideline, because for the same amount of years I've been under one coaching tree, but the other coach has been under my tree. So Alabama had the same issue that I had against Texas A&M. It's like your team came out flat. And I had to talk with the kid from Alabama. I had to talk with him from a long time last night. And we were just talking
actually
about.
Talk to you?
Of course.
That's. I mean, I'm just saying. Normally, he's getting hair, makeup. He's in the helicopter, sipping champagne
in front of cameers. There's
don't forget
camera.
Don't forget the deep tissue massage.
Right.
He has to take his time. But we talked last night, and he was like, I don't know what happened. He said it from the opening kickoff. He said the way they introduced me, it was off. They introduced Michigan and said number 16 in the playoff, the Michigan Wolverines versus a team from the SEC, the Alabama Crimson Tide. And he said that they never introduced me like that. And I said, yo, I got downplayed in my introduction too. I was called the last team to make the playoffs. So I know how you feel with that. But he was just talking about coming out and players not having the same oomph that they had all season, not being able to make throws and not picking up blocks and everything. Nobody's on assignment. So it was a game that shouldn't have got out of hand, but it did get out of hand. And I think that once it's all said and done, I think this is what you're seeing is building blocks. Because if you look at it, every team did better the second season.
Right.
Than they did the first season.
But that's also about the identity. I think everybody kind of fell into their identities. And then when, as an outsider looking in, I feel like your 40-14, the Alabama lost in the championship game, the Maryland-Michigan game, those were moments where the teams were outside of what they normally do. Like your standard is your standard. But then every now and then, your standard gets nixed because the other team stops you from doing what you like to do. And it seems like once that happens, you have to scramble. Either you get behind, you start throwing the ball more than you normally would. And once you start throwing it, this computer is really good. And some of these owners, especially Maryland, I think Maryland probably led the country in user picks just from my eyes. I don't have stats. I don't have the DVOAs or anything like that. No analytics. Just straight eyeball tests. I think Maryland led the country in user picks. And it's like Maryland and Oregon were the two best that I saw. And if somebody's better, I apologize now, but I'm just going off of what I saw in the games that I watched. And it's like once you get out of your rhythm and you start trying to push the ball down the field, this game doesn't have any mercy for you when you got to push the ball down the field.
Can I give a personal coaching tip on what I do when I get into when I get into what I feel like what you're saying is the comfort zone. You calling the plays you want to call, but not necessarily the ones that you need to call. You calling what you're comfortable with versus calling something that could, probably get you out of a jam. I go to coach suggestions.
I
I
got you.
get I get out of what I want to do because I will never come out of shotgun. I would never. That's what I run. That's what I run. So I go to coach suggestions. This was late in the season. They had this play out of the pistol, and it caught Oregon a couple times. I don't know if y'all remember the Oregon Big Ten championship. He got a couple pass interference calls. It was a tight end RPO, and I found that in coach suggestions. And the first play I ran it against Oregon, I think his linebacker or defensive end was confused on the play and thought the tight end was blocking, but he was actually going out for a pass. And when he tackled him, they called pass interference. I would have never found this play if I didn't go on coach suggestions. But so when I get like everybody got probably 10, 20 plays in their head. Probably
Right.
that your top 5, your top 6 that you want to do. You need 10 because we got the 2-play cooldown. You have to have at least 10 because you're gonna have a 2-play cooldown. So you gotta kind of mix it up a little bit. But then you have these other plays that you've done before you might not be quite comfortable with. But when you go to coach suggestions, don't get me wrong, it does a good job of mimicking your offense to what you do and kind of suggesting things, but it also might give you another formation out of something that you're like, shit, I didn't know that play was there. But it helps get you, let me get out of this comfort zone. They're waiting for this. We've seen everybody play in this league. So you know what you're waiting for when you play certain people. So if you come out in something else, a little, that little wrinkle,
That's it. That's it. That's the great
it-
word, the wrinkle.
the wrinkle. That's all you need sometime, and just to get you going. And like I said, you might be able to go back to your top 10 plays because you threw that wrinkle in, and it's going to take a while for the iron on the other side to kind of get back to being comfortable playing press or playing a certain way against you because they quote unquote know what you're going to do. And you didn't threw this out there and like, shit, I got to back off. I got to do this. I got to do that. Sometimes that's all you need.
I hear you. No, that's facts. I mean, it's interesting, and I like the fact that y'all aren't scared to share the games because anybody can sit and watch you and scout you and post and see what you do. But I think there's a healthy, what's the word I'm looking for? A healthy competitive nature where I'm not going to sit here and scout you full fledged. If I see it in the live, then I see it. But like, if I know I'm playing Maryland next week, I'm not sitting there watching the Maryland game all week long to try to get your tendencies. Does that make sense? It's like the teams don't.
I mean, if you don't do that, I mean, I'm not going to say what everybody else does, but I know if I got Maryland coming up, and B, you can attest to this, we've been playing each other and we've evolved close to 30 years now. And the games have evolved and we've evolved, and but it's still little things that we do that catch each other off guard. But I know if I'm playing Maryland, I know I have to look for certain things, but I also have to be ready for that wrinkle. If I'm playing Michigan, now playing Michigan and playing Darnell, it's been the same for probably the last 15 years. If he gets to the outside and he gets around the corner, it's curtains. So any stretch play, what you have to do, you have to have the linebackers. So you have to adjust the linebackers. You got to set the edge and don't let his O-line set the edge. And I was telling Dario, I said, what you got to do is when he gets to the outside, you got to force him to cut back to the inside where the cavalry is. These are things that, you set up for, but you have to watch certain things.
All right. So what I'm saying is you guys know each other from playing all the time. You're not literally sitting there doing a deep series scouting session because you guys know just from watching, you know what I'm saying?
And I agree with that because when I'm watching the games, I'm watching them for pure enjoyment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm watching like we watching that Michigan and Texas game, and I alluded to the wrinkle Coach Darnell threw in, but I'm not watching. I'm not writing. Oh my God, all right, that came out of this for me. No,
Right.
I'm not
There
writing
you
it
go.
down. I'm sitting back. I got my cup of whatever I got, and I'm enjoying this game, watching this game, watching two powerhouses go at it. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you get, and I don't want to say top four because I'm in the top four, but when you start getting to, because it's not with just the top four, it's all the users, and it comes a point where you have to user the play to get stopped if you're on defense. You have to set the edge. With me in Michigan, played in College Park.
Right.
I had control of my say. I was going to go get Cabana. I can't let the computer go out there and set the edge. You have to figure out, like, you got to set your defense up as far as your linebackers, defensive line, the way you want them to slant, who's blitzing. But it gets to a point where if you want plays stopped and you know what's coming, you have to go stop them plays. You can't rely on the computer to do it. If you rely on the computer to do it, you're gonna watch somebody go down the sideline 70 yards.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and move on to the new champions. I mean, we've kind of alluded to it, but we crowned a champion. It was the Michigan Wolverines. Congratulations to Coach Darnell. Great season. Great atmosphere. I think he came on 2 weeks ago with us. Great conversation. So we want to thank him just for giving us the time back then. Hopefully we'll have time coming up. And then the coach also had some interesting comments about his offseason. We'll get to that. But so season 2, the Michigan Wolverines are the champions of the Sideline Junkies 24 college football 24 season. All right. Season 1 was Oregon. Now it's Michigan. 2 teams from the Big Ten. Interesting. So we'll see how this goes and how it plays out. Let's go ahead and get to some of the offseason stuff because I've been in the comments and I've been dying laughing at some of y'all. So if you don't mind, B, since you're here, you want to talk about that little linebacker that you had?
That motherfucker. Let me tell you something. Okay? We have it. I think, offhand, I think we're top 10 defense in the nation. I believe. He left because we don't have the pro potential to get him to the league. We're top 10 defense. Top 10 defense in the nation. Okay? We on TV. We just won the Big Ten championship. We won the Rose Bowl. We got to the semifinal. If anybody see this cat, I just need you to bring him to me in the trunk of a car, and we'll handle. Just drop him off somewhere. You don't even have to give me give me the coordinates. You don't have to give me the address. Give me the coordinates, and we'll take care of it from there. So yes, Maryland lost. We lost one of our star left outside linebackers. He went to the transfer portal because he felt like the Terrapins couldn't give him the shot at the league he wanted, which is cool. Wherever he goes, I would like to find out where he goes. But we got horses coming. So we got the cavalry is coming. I posted some pictures. Some receivers is coming that more than likely are going to be red shirted. But we got some pieces coming that's going to add to the Maryland Terrapins and that Big Ten. Try to repeat as Big Ten champions.
Okay. KG, you got anything going on your side? Because didn't you have a kid?
Well, I almost lost my star receiver who I got from USC last off season in the transfer portal, Zachariah Branch. He wanted to go to the NFL, but they were only putting him at maybe a 6th round pick. And I just told him, I said, hey, man, you come on back, play your senior season. We can do this. And we can do something better and get you higher than 6 because you are a first-round talent. And with that being said, he said, you know what, Coach, you're right. He was like, you fought for me almost like you. Huh?
There are allegations that you threw him a keys to a Challenger or a Lamborghini.
No. We don't do that at Notre Dame. I talked to the kid.
That's not what I heard. I heard that some of the coaches and the player himself was sharing a little bit of crack. That's what I heard.
Wow.
That's an inside joke. Oh my god.
I mean, these allegations, I don't even know where they come from. Jeez. But I almost lost Zachariah Branch, and I got other guys coming in to help complement with them. As of right now, where we stand, I meant to bring in the graphic, but the recruiting class, I don't have it because it's not finished.
Bring in the one where we talk about the kids that left.
The recruiting class, as far as that, I have the number 2 recruiting class in the country, and here is my players that left. Takario Davis, my top corners left. So all 3 of my top corners left. I was surprised that just did not get picked in the draft because he was a stud down the line for me at running back. I don't know what's going on with Jeremiah Love and his wear and tear, but I couldn't run the ball with him maybe more than 15 times in a game.
Okay.
Going over to Oregon and their draft picks. Evan Stewart, their wide receiver, first round. Conley Jr., first round. Second round pick. Harmon, third round pick. Texas had a couple of draft picks. Moore, first round pick. Hill was a first round pick. Campbell, Golden, 3rd and 5th, respectively. Burke was 5th. His running back Blue, and now back with 7.
If Blue goes in the 7th round in 2025, that's not happening. But go ahead.
No, it's not. Michigan
Cabana went 4th
in the 4th round. He left school to be a 4th round draft pick. But he was drafted by a team that does not value running backs.
I'd take him in the 4th too if he on the clock. I don't care what my running back situation is.
Now, this kid, Alabama could not fit all of his players. All his drafted players could not fit them all in one graphic because it was 2 lists. And he lost all seniors. Milroe, 1st round. Booker, 1st round. Lawson, 1st round. Roberts, 2nd round. Bernard, 3rd round. Campbell, 3rd round. Like, this cat had so many players drafted overall. It wasn't funny.
He gonna start a whole new team next year.
But he's
preseason next year. And if you have that or we have that, I want to see that.
What was that?
The preseason. Excuse me. If we have the preseason rankings for his team, or
Not
like
yet.
a top 25, if we
Not
have
yet.
that, let's get that.
Oh, we'll have that next week because that's not up yet. We got to get through the offseason. But when I tell you he'll still be ranked top 5, he'll still be ranked top 5.
All right, so let's try to wrap this up. But before we wrap it up, I want you guys to kind of give the people, because somebody might want to be a user, like kind of tell them what this offseason entails real quick, and like a quick blurb, a quick hit of what you guys got going on, and then how soon you're going to start the new season. Because knowing you guys, we'll probably be at week 2 by the time we hit next Saturday.
Well, what we're trying to do, we just kind of solidified the off-season schedule. So it's 4 weeks of recruiting in the transfer portal. So we'll be advancing from week 4 by 1:00 tomorrow. So we'll be out of that tomorrow. I forgot what stages after that, but what I'm hoping is we can do some advances tomorrow. We'll communicate with everybody, do some advances tomorrow, and possibly be starting the year number 3, week 0, Monday night.
Okay. And so what do you guys think? Because we did have a hiring. I'm sorry, KG, I didn't let you talk. Your off-season thoughts, or
Well, I mean, speaking from Notre Dame's aspect, I have a young QB who you got a glimpse of, and he redshirted most of the season last season. But if you watch the Texas A&M game, he came in for the last two drives, two touchdown drives, and I'm like, I should have started the kid in the second half, and we probably would have won the game. But he's gonna be my starter. I got a 5-star defensive tackle coming in, a 5-star strong safety coming in. I got guys coming in to really, really take over and push this team forward. I need continuity. I need consistency as a coach. This is the final year of my contract. So who knows? I may get offered another contract, or I may just wind up going somewhere like Air Force or something, because, if I can't get it done in Notre Dame, I mean, what can you do? You got to go somewhere else. And I think we got a rule is I can't go work on anybody else's staff. So there's that.
Which is a great rule. And speaking of transitions, we got a coach that went from Miami to Penn State. Is that correct?
That is 100. That is 100% correct. He left the safety of the ACC to come to the Big Ten and get his head beat in. So
now, I didn't see the details. Was that a hiring? Was that just a switch?
It was just a switch.
Okay.
It was a request and a switch. So he joins the Big Ten. Like I said, last two national champions are out of the Big Ten.
So now we have Penn State, Oregon, Michigan, Maryland.
That's it.
Okay.
So you got 4 teams out of the Big Ten. It's really going to be it's going to be a traffic jam in there.
So then, if I would suggest that you guys don't have to fall into that rule of playing 2 teams or scheduling somebody out of conference.
Well, it depends, because the computer schedules the conference games. So
right.
It's so many teams in the Big Ten, you may not still play somebody. But here's the thing: if the computer doesn't schedule you versus a conference foe, you won't play them because you can't schedule that otherwise.
Right.
So that's the only thing. So we're going to play with the schedule a little bit. We may take the required conference games down 1 or 2, just so we have more room, so we can have the 2 or 3 other users on the schedule, so everybody can play. So we haven't played with that yet. That might be the bulk of the time, but we got 4 good commissioners, but that probably be the bulk of the time trying to set the schedule.
Right. And just so people don't know, what we're saying is, we try to make it a balanced schedule as much as we can. We don't want people playing in a conference where you don't have to play any other users and try to sneak your way into the finals that way. If you don't play any other users, then you have to, or we work the schedule so you still have 2 games is the minimum, right? It's 2 user games.
2 user games is the minimum, and I think that's why you saw what you saw in the college football playoff.
Yeah. I mean, I think iron sharpens iron, and the Colorado coach is young, and he's trying to get things together, and he's like right there. I wouldn't be surprised if next year, because he's stuck with Staub, he doesn't reap the benefits of that, and Staub gets better over the offseason, and he can go in and become. I think he probably has to get another running back, because I think Colorado lost. They should be losing their running back. I'll look at it. But yeah, I mean, the league is tough. All 8 guys offer something different. And even the people that are close, you're close, but there's that wrinkle that you talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you and Jimmy are the same, B, but then there's the Jimmy wrinkles and there's your wrinkles. So that's where y'all vary off. Dario, Xavier, and KG,
and they all play a base the same,
right?
You see Dario, where his game has evolved into the things he likes to do to get you off balance. You see what Xavier is developing to balance his offense and play. And shout out to him, he won his bowl game.
Right.
Yeah, I know we talk about the college football playoffs heavily, but shout out to him. He beat Virginia to secure a bowl win for the Buffs. So congratulations to him. And then you see the tree, where the roots come from, and the big guy. You see what he likes to run, what he does, and it's fun to see that.
Yeah. It's like I said, I get the beauty of it because I got a catbird seat to watch all of it, and I see everybody doing everything. And I know you guys watch games for entertainment as well, but like, what was that? I think it was last Friday. I just sat here and it was like I had my own sports show. It was like doubleheader, you know what I'm saying? Watching games the whole night, and then I think Sunday is when Puffy tried to make his little show, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Really, bro? Like, damn, I try to bring the live game to the people, and okay.
Nah, I'm messing with you, dog. You know, this wouldn't be us if I didn't
All
give
right.
you a hard time about that.
All right, man. Take that.
We are way over our time. We normally don't do no overtime, but that's a lie because we like overtime. Because it adds money to our checks. But anything else we want to talk about, or anything else you guys got on your mind before we get out of here?
Anybody thinking about joining the league, come with caution. We play the computer. We stream our games. And if you come in here big headed, you're gonna get deflated quick. You're gonna get drugged around the field and waxed. I'm just letting you know because we play the computer, but we got some ballers in here and
Some experience.
we got some experience and the two national champion OG Sega Genesis Super Nintendo Madden players. So look, come in with a open mind, be open to things because we have fun too. As Midnight Rider alluded to in the chat, we talk our shit, we have our fun, and we are having fun, man. This is a blast. It's one of the few things I look forward to during the week is coming home playing that game and watching the games in the chat and watching everybody talk this shit and who's recruiting who. It's a blast.
KG?
I'll say this: if you're thinking about joining, if you're one of those people that don't like when what they say the old heads run the clock down and they run the ball and they put drives together, if you're one of those people that don't like that, this ain't the league for you. Because we're not one play, score, play defense, one play, score, play defense. Nah, we methodically drive down the field and set you up. And then when we lower the boom on you, like, damn, I didn't see that coming. Of course you didn't, because you're not ready for it. This is real college football. None of that stuff you see online. This is a man's league, not a little boy's league. Always remember that.
So first and foremost, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching the greatest fictitious college football show in the world. We the only show brave enough to go head to head against College Game Day because College Game Day ain't got nothing on us. Second of all, I'd like to thank our two coaches in the background for giving us time and opportunity to talk to them and giving you guys insight into what this great league is. And third, I always say this, and if you haven't picked up on it yet, it's one of our sayings. If you want the smoke, we got the cigar, and we got the lighter. Sideline Junkies 24. We walking into Dynasty season number 3. By the time you see this again, we'll be probably at week 1 or week 2 of Dynasty season 3. If you want in, let us know. But again, from the greatest fictitious sports show in the land, I am the Midnight Rider. I was assisted by the big guy KG, aka Diddy. No, I'm joking. Big guy KG, the boss BJ, and we don't do no overtime in the words of normal people. We are out of here. Let's go.
Bad boy, baby, bad boy.